I like picked up a guitar and started writing songs and just realized quite quickly that, performing was always going to be the way that I could be not, I just love performing. I
Yeah.
think that's why I did magic as well. I
Hmm.
actually went to college to train to be a firefighter. I did public services.
Excuse me,
So
what?
I know, I know. But I
Your LinkedIn
worked.
looks mad. Yeah.
But this is the funniest part about that story is that I worked on a demolition site at the weekend when I was at college. I had an accident at work where I fell from a tall height. I broke my leg and I damaged my leg so badly I couldn't apply to be a firefighter.
Oh my gosh, God.
So I was like, let's just go on the X Factor instead.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host Connor Finn, and this is a show where I get to chat to the most interesting people that I know. This week, I had the absolute pleasure of chatting with one of my favourite artists. It was, of course, the brilliant Lucy Spraggan. For those who maybe don't know Lucy, she's an English singer-songwriter who took the world by storm when she performed her own song Last Night back in X Factor in 2012. From there, she's released multiple chart-topping albums, toured the world, and has been one of my absolute go-to artists over the last decade. We spoke all about her journey from magician, cave tour guide, and training to be a firefighter to follow her passions and creating music loved by millions worldwide, the inspiration behind her unique sound, the highs and lows of her acclaimed success, and how everyone's just winging it in life, all on the eve of her latest album release, Choices, which you can now stream and purchase on all listening platforms. This episode was honestly one of those pinch me moments where, again, I always mention this, I start out this podcast to chat to people that I never thought I'd be able to do and to learn from them, and to actually get someone like Lucy on the show was just surreal. I'm still kind of on a buzz from it, so you'll probably hear me throughout just my jaw I couldn't stop talking. I was so excited to be chatting with her, and on such an amazing day just before the release of her new album. So you guys are gonna absolutely love this interview. Lucy is such class crack to be chatting with. But without spoiling any more, without further ado, please enjoy this latest episode of Finnterviews with the wonderful Lucy Spraggan. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week, I am beyond thrilled to welcome onto the show the fabulous Lucy Spraggan. How's it going, Lucy?
I'm all right, thank you. I've got a little bit of sun today, so I'm like, feeling all right. How are you?
I'm not too bad as well. That's what I mean. I'm in Dublin at the moment, and we've got this sun as well. Jesus God,
we're really being spoiled by the weather, people.
God, yeah, fuck you, Brexit. Yeah, didn't see this one coming, did you? Oh gosh, no, it's a lovely day, and to make it even better, I'm getting to chat to you. Big fan of your work, obviously, and it's kind of a bit surreal for me whenever I, always fire out these little emails being like, you want to chat to some spec kid on the internet? And when people actually get back, I'm like, holy shit, you were one of those holy shit moments, and especially considering it's literally a day before your latest album release, Choices. So thank you so much for making time for little old Connor.
Thank you for making time for me. I appreciate it.
God, we're just so humble here. My God.
We are most humble, sun worshipping and enjoying the weather, humble people.
Exactly. Sun worshipping, ass kissing. Either way. But here, Lucy, for the minute, in the small chance that people don't know who you are, I mean, maybe introduce yourself, kind of what you do, what you're about, because I would say, like singer, songwriter, performer, but I mean also early days magician. I mean, what you put in your business card these days, honestly? I mean,
yeah, it's not even just that. I used to be a tour guide in a cave as well when I was younger. No lie. I can tell you pretty much anything you want to know about calcite formation, stalactites, stalagmites, but I am now a touring artist. Actually, I mean, right now I'm not a touring artist, am I? Because we're living in basically hell. But I am normally a touring artist. I tour all around the world and I play songs that I've written. This will be my 6th album that's out. And yeah, I love what I do.
Exactly. Now, like so many others, I suppose we came to kind of know you through obviously like Act Factor and all the rest of it. But like, I feel like just since then and since everything else, I was kind of doing a bit of research before this, talk about the Summer Sunshine, listen to you on another podcast. Like, just, I mean, obsessed with it. I thought myself, I was like, God, I'm just like one of the OG fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've just been following Lucy for last while. It's mad. Like, so many people, as soon as I kind of put off about like gonna be talking to Lucy Spraggan today, everybody's being like, holy shit. Like, even like now, still, I mean, your song like last night, over 3 million streams, hasn't just hit. It's like, I mean, people are making it like using it as TikTok trend songs and everything. Like,
it's so weird about TikTok. It's been hashtag. Last night I told you I loved you has been hashtag 16.4 million times on TikTok.
Not that you're counting, no.
Well, some people, like young people, keep sending me TikToks of my song,
Yeah.
and I go on there, and I feel like an old, I feel like an old woman on teletext or something, because TikTok to me is just so foreign. I don't find it user friendly or anything. So all I did was just search the hashtag, and it tells you how many times it's been used, and then I ran away from TikTok as fast as I could.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tried to do that, but I got sucked straight in. Yeah,
How old are you?
Well, I'm 22.
Yeah, see, you're the TikTok generation. Listen,
No.
I'm a Facebook woman. I'm an old I'm an old Karen.
Here, I only got into it like in the last week, but I remember when I started, I was being like far too old for this, and then lockdown hit, and then suddenly I was like, okay, it just turns out everybody's in on it. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I was starting to Bebo days. I was back in like MySpace.
Bebo?
No, that's a lie. Wasn't MySpace.
I was gonna say you definitely weren't. And come on about Bebo.
Are you kidding me? Sorry, I have my top 9 friends. Oh, I had my anthem. Yeah, I used to download the moving graphics in the background. Oh, you best believe it. Yeah, my ones did not know I had Bebo.
Make your own Bebo cover.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then you set out your quiz and stuff as well, just to how many hearts you're gonna get. Yeah, gosh.
So good. Like, that was such a self-indulgent time, wasn't it? Be like, this is, by the way, guys, this is my favorite song, and these are my top friends. So
like, shit.
Exactly. You didn't make it to the top 10, bitch.
Exactly. But I suppose, Lucy, obviously, like, everything that has been going on, like, I suppose let's bring it back to the start. I know you've been asked this a couple times, but for like the rare occasion that somebody doesn't know kind of about like when you first got into music, like how did it start off? You're about 10, like, was it something you'd always gravitate towards, or like was there ever like potentially another path in mind? Like, how did it all kind of start up? Because it's kind of been something that's been part of your life. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've just been a massive attention seeker since birth, really. So I realized I like picked up a guitar and started writing songs, and just realized quite quickly that performing was always going to be the way that I could be. I just love performing. Yeah. I think that's why I did magic as well. I actually went to college to train to be a firefighter. I did public services.
Excuse me, what?
I know. But I
Your LinkedIn looks mad. Yeah.
But this is the funniest part about that story, is that I worked on a demolition site at the weekend when I was at college. I had an accident at work where I fell from a tall height. I broke my leg, and I damaged my leg so badly I couldn't apply to be a firefighter.
Oh my gosh, God.
So I was like, let's just go on the X Factor instead.
You're like, that dream's gone to shit. Yeah, I suppose I'll just like play some music and stuff, whatever. Yeah. Boring. My God. Well, I mean, I'm personally delighted that not that you just like, that you got injured or whatever like that, but like that circumstance happened.
You're glad I broke my leg. I know it. I can feel it.
Yeah, people can't see this podcast, but I'm just being like, fucking class. Yes, no, but like, honestly, I feel like it's anybody that's talked to that are like, some musicians, stuff like this, it always seems that people have kind of like fall into these careers that it maybe was always kind of like a passion or something. But like for yourself, obviously, from playing in bars and stuff, like turn around, like I know that even like you just have to be one of the like most brave kind of musicians that I've like ever kind of heard of, where it's like you just seem to not give a shit. You're like, fuck it, we're just gonna go out here, we're gonna make it happen. Like you were running around America when you were like 18, wasn't it? Or like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing with me is that like I think people are really invested in keeping up appearances, that like their whole careers. I think that's why some artists just stay in the UK and they'll play to like thousands of people, but then they never go to other countries because they know they have to start like from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And like I think I play to quite decent crowds in America now, but like 3 years ago when I first went, I played a show in Wisconsin to 12 people. And like, I think that's amazing. The promoter was like, do you want to do this show? And I was like, dude, I'm in Wisconsin. You don't understand that 12 people in Wisconsin is like, blows my mind.
All of Wisconsin. Yeah.
But like, even that it's just 12 people, it's still to be that far away from where like what I know.
Yeah.
And have like some strangers. You couldn't, it's weird. Like, some people can't even get 12 people to their birthday party, and I can get 12 people to a random little bar in Wisconsin. I love that.
All right, feeling targeted here, Lacey, but it's all right.
I only say because I'm one of those people, you know.
Yeah. Here's me being like, I'm a young thing. Older I get, very quickly realizing the whole thing where it's like, why is mom and dad not like hang out with their mates all the time? They disappear. Everybody's you're lucky if you hold on to 2 mates at a time, like honestly. Like
yeah, it's true. Get animals instead.
Exactly. Yeah. Invest your love elsewhere. But I suppose like as well, from this, like growing up, like your music as well is so distinct. I would like to think of just between, you know, these kind of like the lyrics in your songs and the melodies and everything are so kind of catchy, but so relatable in a sense. Like, well, depends on which song, like catchy or whatever. Like, no, do you know what I mean? Some of them are obviously a little bit more loaded and slower down, but like either way, like I felt a little privileged to be hearing a little bit of your album choices. And there's like I was wandering around, and it's just like you're able to put everything into such a context that like I feel like is relatable to so many people. And I don't know, like, is there kind of any inspiration behind this music, and like I maybe like any kind of influences that you draw from whenever you're creating, you know, even this album or anything else? Or is it just kind of like springs to mind and just utter talent that I just don't write? I have no idea how it works.
Oh, anything I've ever written that's like decent has just appeared. And it's funny because, you know, some people have this writing process where it's like a 9 to 5, like they sit down and they churn out music. Whereas if I was to sit down, if there was a room with nothing in it but a pen and a piece of paper and someone said write a song, I'd be like, that's just not going to happen. Like I'd end up somehow procrastinating in that room with nothing in it. But I'm inspired by a lot of things. Like this album, as when people can hear it, like they'll realize it's the reason it's called Choices is because about the choices I've made over the last couple of years, like getting sober, like I'm divorced, I've changed my lifestyle, I invest in my like journey of self-discovery and healing and stuff. And that kind of thing is easy for me to write about because I know about it.
But even like, I mean, me, like a literal child, I mean, those are kind of like things that like, it feels like whatever, like, you know, all these kind of things that you're making, like between different choices and, you know, different things that you're writing about, it was still, I was listening to it and I still apply it to my own life while I was like, that sounds hilarious. You're being like writing about these huge volume events and I'm walking to Lidl being like, oh my God, she's speaking to me right now.
No, but that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be able to like talk about my experience, but also make that sound like it could be your experience too, because we all have really different circumstances in life and we all have different things going on. But really, when it comes down to the things that are hard for us, they're all the same. Like, even if they're different circumstances or situations, like the feelings that we struggle with, self-doubt, lack of confidence, not believing in what we're doing, and having absolutely no idea where we're going. why does everyone always pretend that they know? Because I don't know a single person, including me, and I'm nearly 30, right? And the older I get, the more I realize everyone is winging it.
Oh, 100%. Like, everybody's still a child. They've just like grown up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean shit's actually been sorted out. No, sure, here's me even being like, I remember thinking back, 17, 18, school, being like, oh my God, like people like they're in their 20s, mid 20s. It's like, God, they must have like, that like seems so far away. They're like working like full-time jobs. Like some of them are getting like mortgages for houses. Some of them are parents, stuff like this, thinking that is just such like a grown-up age. Now I'm here and like, I mean, people are kind of doing that around my age or like a little bit older, but it's kind of like to stage where it's like, even when people are, having kids and stuff, you're kind of like, do I say congratulations or do I say, are you okay? Like, I'm sorry. like, do you know what I mean? Everybody's just fucking winging it. Like, nobody's at the
It's so
same
different
level. It's
for some
mad.
people.
Yeah.
And like people ask, any of my friends who I would regard as successful, and that's from like all walks of life, like people that are parents, like really great parents, people that have really great jobs, and people who independently do really well. They have no idea. They're the people who have the least idea.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's wild.
Understuss. Yeah, look it up, chin in hands, like, wow, you guys are great.
I am.
But here, I suppose as well from this, like, obviously, like, you've just been obviously you've been kind of mad over the last couple of years creating songs, albums, whatever like this, but like how, like what does, I don't know if this is like a horrendous question, but I feel like, yeah, what is like an average day look like for yourself at the moment? Like, is it just like same for walls, or you're obviously, you've got time to speak to me, like, so I mean, you're like not ideal, Connor. I'd love to be out and about, like, but yeah,
Well,
what does an average day look like for you? Because
like in lockdown.
well, I mean, kind of in general, because it seems like you haven't slowed down even with lockdown coming in. Like between, your Instagram, obviously this album, stuff like this, like a lot of people feel like they've like slowed back. Not you, Lucy. You've been like,
I have, because I normally tour like 8 or 9 months of the year. I am normally like, when lockdown happened, I literally couldn't work my remote control. I was like, how does this even work? I don't know like, how does the heating work in my house? Didn't even know, because I was never here. And like, so things drastically changed, but I need to be hyper fixated on at least one thing in my life. So I'd already started training, but like for fitness, but that sort of took a real forefront when lockdown happened, as like means of almost meditation and production, like productivity. So for the last 8 weeks, I've been training twice a day. I eat like 7 times a day, and that's like, and I do interviews about my album. That's it. That is my life.
What more do you want, Connor? Honestly,
well, people are like, yeah. I mean, it seems so interesting. I'm like, it's the first time. It's the first time I've ever had any routine in my life ever.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God, that's mad. Like, yeah, God, you're doing routine, sitting down, like, well, sitting down, anything but sitting down. Training all the time, doing interviews, whatever like this. I was just like, God, I can't keep chatting to the same people I live with anymore. I need to start like reaching out and like chatting to other people.
I think that's a good thing of living alone. You're like, okay, right, I'm going to have to really make friends with myself.
Yeah, whether I'm kind of like, I couldn't imagine even living alone. Like, Jesus, I just like get like angsty even thinking about it. And kind of like, no, I just need to like fart out all my thoughts onto somebody like at least once a day, and then they just have to deal with all that emotional trauma. Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
But I suppose as well with this, like, your career has been obviously a bit mad. Like, for the best part of a decade, you haven't settled. You have been on the go. You've been running back and forth, you know what I mean? Like, everything's been crazy and you've just been so, madly successful. and you know, you've just built like up such like a loyal following, me. But like, I suppose, have there been any major standout moments that like came from being in this kind of like career that maybe you never thought could have happened like beforehand? I don't know, like I mean, because
I mean,
obviously you wanted to be a firefighter, you want to be a magician, all these other things, like, and then musician just kind of fell in there, and you're like, what? Like,
well, in 2017, I was asked to play Glastonbury for the first time, and this would have been my third year at Glastonbury. I was booked to play in June, and like that, that to me was just like an unfathomable thing. No one from the X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, or reality TV has ever been asked to play Glastonbury ever in the history of Glastonbury. So I was asked, and I was just like, and that was a moment, like that first show in 2017 that I played there. I played the acoustic stage, which is huge,
yeah,
and it like it blew me away. The tent was full to the rafters, and that was like a moment
Jesus.
of validation and like that I don't have much commercial viability for some reason. Like I'm not played on national radio stations, and you don't see that much of me on TV.
Yeah,
But in terms of success, and like self
like
self
pinch me moments.
fulfillment, that's one of the highlights.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, obviously, how's that even work? Do they like does Glastonbury call me or?
Well, it's like you have an agent, and an agent will pitch shows for you, and so like effectively, the agent is always trying to get you shows,
Mm.
and some shows are more prestigious than others, and some will tell you absolutely not, and some will say yeah.
I mean, Lucy, I'm not trying to like kind of I'm not trying to take offense to that or anything, but like you're talking about Glastonbury, my probably I was kind of, you know, this bit of a leading question actually, your biggest kind of moment. You actually played in my hometown for Christmas lights turn on. But that's completely fine. I
Oh.
mean, Armagh obviously means nothing to you, Lucy. It's fine.
Count, count the armor. Is that what that I remember that, I think that was around the same time they had the vote for same-sex marriage, and they had all these posters that were like marriage is between a man and a woman, and I was like,
Oh.
it's wild.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm currently based out of Dublin now. Yeah, North, not the best crack. I'd like to say.
Not a good crack at all.
No, no.
Not a good gay crack anyway.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's fine. Yeah, we're not there. Like, do you know what I mean?
The Kremlin's a good place though.
Oh, you've been to the Kremlin? Oh, have you? Oh,
Yeah, but I love the is it the George? No, the George.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The George is in Dublin here. Kremlin's up in Belfast. Yeah.
yeah.
I only capped on about like that, like how clever the name was, calling it the Kremlin. Literally about 2 years ago, I was like, "Oh, the Russian president." Were you like,
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Oh my God, I'm delighted. I was just like not expecting, like, but of course, I mean, when you're in the city, do you know what I mean? You got to experience it. Yeah, exactly. God, if I suppose as well from that, like obviously highlight Glastonbury, Armagh. Have there been any? You're like, all right, Connor, fucking summer down. Have there been any kind of, I suppose, like major? I kind of almost feel badass guesses, but like horror stories that like came from working in the industry. Not anything that like obviously don't want to probe too deep into like anything that's been horrendous, but like any kind of things that you like happened or like things that kind of came from being in this mad kind of music industry that you're kind of like, oh, this was not expected on the journey.
It's not really the music industry that has all the, well, it is like the music industry is run by straight white men, and that's why I'm not commercially viable, because
Mm.
like, you know, I'm not that handy to straight white men. But I mean, it's true, isn't it? You just have to forge your own way, and that's fine. That's what I've been doing my whole life. But for me, like the most irritating part is how social media is like exploited by just real dumbasses on the internet.
Mm.
People are obsessed with offering their opinion in modern society, whereas, you know, it does boggle my mind that you could put a picture on or put a status and someone would be like, most people start their sentences with like, I think, and it's like, no, whoa, didn't ask you what you think. This isn't a forum. Like, and it's weird. And people just constantly saying offensive things, some malicious, some just stupid, but that is probably my biggest bugbear. Like this morning a girl said, I don't know if you saw, I put a picture of me with nipple stickers on my boobs yesterday. And today she was like, you set the wrong example for young people and you make it like look like you have to look like this to make it in the industry. And I honestly, like, this is my 6th album release. I didn't change the way I looked until like 12 months ago. I have accomplished so much. I'm sober. I like set a great example for people who want to change their lives. I know I do because I do it on purpose. And like to say, oh, you make it look like you have to look a certain way to make it in the industry. I'm like, love, if it was about looks, I wouldn't be on my 6th album. Like, it's not.
You're late to the party here, like.
Like, babes, like you don't do 6 albums on what you look like. That's not a thing. And it's really frustrating. So people piss me off. That's the truth, Connor.
Fair enough. Yeah, I feel like as well, do you know what I mean? People are just kind of stuck in, especially for stuff like kind of Twitter and stuff like this, people are just stuck in like a little echo chamber of just their own kind of, do you know what I mean? It's like somebody just, as soon as they like, fling out an opinion, it's like everybody starts like cramming around it and you're kind of like surrounded by people that equally are just like frustrated or something else. And yeah, I suppose like with everything going on, like the more that, your stuff does well and the more, that you like grow, and like with anybody that, is in kind of in any of those public like spheres and stuff like this, like on the shittier side, people, still find like, anything to be like, well, I'll tell you something. It's like, who fucking asked? Here.
Literally, I always say like, don't say anything to me that you wouldn't say in real life, because I'm actually not that chill. In real life.
You're like, lucky they're social distancing now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? June 21st, supposedly we be out and about in this country, and can you imagine all these Karens walking around me? Like,
oh, Christ.
You look better without that t-shirt or something like that. I'm just getting feathered.
Yeah. Oh god. Well, I like to say that I'm like still lucky enough that I am haven't been any hackled anything online, but sure, I mean we'll see what happens from this. I mean, interview. My god, people be like, well, to be fair, actually my family just hackled me. They'd be like, Carl, you sound like a dickhead every time you talk to somebody online. So I mean, yeah, still trying to get from the outside public, but I feel like I have a strong enough shell now just for my own family trying to be like, wind your neck in, son.
Wind your neck in. I just love that saying.
Mind your knees. But I mean, Lucy, as well, I'm so hyper conscious of the time and that you are super busy at the moment. So I'm just going to kind of finish up on this last note. Like, obviously, like your new album is just coming out tomorrow. Congratulations. I've been hooked to the song Roots already. Like, I mean, Jay is like walking around, it's all sunny, and I was like, this ain't real.
But I think that was in the key that the actual song is in, by the way.
Oh, I mean, not the only musician here. No, I joke. Oh my god, thanks so much. But like, I suppose, like, what I suppose after like this does the future kind of hold? Because obviously this is your next big milestone. But like, are there any big goals that you want to achieve that you maybe haven't? I mean, 6 albums, turn around the world. Like, what's there left? Like, kind of like, is there any big bucket list things? Like, I mean, Glastonbury, like Armagh round 2, maybe. Who knows?
It's just to carry on like this. It's a like privilege to do what you love for work. And there are a lot of people who are like, I used to chase my tail wanting more and more and more and more, but like all I want is like enough things to hold and enjoy my life. That's genuinely what I want. So even if my crowds never grew bigger than they are now, or I never toured outside the territories that I do now, I would be absolutely content with where I am. But instead, stuff keeps growing, and that's really humbling, and it's an honor to do it.
Yeah, Jesus. I know, here's me literally being like, I just love like a new car at some stage, you know what I mean? I love to be able to get out of the house, blah, blah, blah. You'll be like, I'm just happy. Like, mate, come on now. Just like, I've got what I need. And I mean, I get to chat to like freaks on the internet. They're like talking about their album stuff. You're like, do you know what? We're winning all around. Like,
I think so.
well, here, Lucy, honestly, it has been genuinely a pleasure. I wish I could talk to you all day because I would absolutely just I'd just chat your ear off. So it's probably best that we're on a limit for today. But for anybody that, you know, wants to kind of the rare occasion that somebody finds you through coming through me, I mean, hilarious. Where can they, you know, album out, where can they find everything that you're doing, everything that's going on? What is the go-to place to see everything that you're up to?
So just search any social media or lucyspraggan.com and I'm on there. So thank you very much for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure. All right, and here, congratulations with everything, and have a wonderful day, Lucy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Finnterviews. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did recording it. Do remember that if you did like this episode, to give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, and a wee 5-star rating on whatever listen platform does no harm either. And also, you can get in touch with me on socials and tell me who you would like to hear on the episode next, or simply give me some abuse. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and now on YouTube. Just by typing in Finnterviews wherever you are, you'll find me. Until next time, genuinely, thank you so much for tuning in again, and I'll chat to you later. Bye!